What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we're going to be talking about how to control your rage and keep a level head while playing Call of Duty, especially when those really BS sort of moments happen to you. I get asked about this all the time when I'm live streaming or in my live commentaries. People are like, how did you just keep a level head through that situation? I would have broken my controller if that happened to me. So I just want to share my little rage control secrets with you guys today. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so first I want to go through my thought process when I get one of those deaths that's just completely BS, or at least that initially feels completely BS. So I'm talking deaths like lag, or hit detection, or that specialist is really overpowered, or that spawn was absolutely terrible, or I shot first and my enemy still killed me. Take your pick. Take your pick of any one of these sorts of deaths. You can add some of your own. Let's just assume one of these happens to me. The first thing that goes through my head is, was that situation under your control? If the answer is yes, then it's very simple. You learn from this and you move on. So you think about, what did I do wrong, and what could I try differently next time I run into a similar situation? Then the next time you run into a very similar situation, try that something different that you were thinking of. And if that doesn't work, think of something else that you can try. And if that doesn't work, keep going with this. And then maybe you'll realize, well, this situation is a no-win situation, and I probably shouldn't put myself in this situation in the first place. This is an excellent way to learn at Call of Duty, and it's one of the best, very general tips that I could give you. Always try to learn from your mistakes. So if it's under your control, there's no need to get angry, just learn from it. So now what happens if my immediate answer to that question, was it under your control? If my immediate answer to that is no, the next question I ask myself is, are you sure? This is where a lot of people really fall off. A lot of people are great at recognizing when it was their fault immediately, and then they learn from it. But a lot of people, they still like to jump to those excuses. And this is just a subconscious thing that happens with a lot of us. When something goes wrong, it can't be your fault. Especially in Call of Duty, because Call of Duty is designed to make you feel like a badass. Just look at things like care packages and specialists and all that kind of stuff. It's designed to make people, even if they're not the most amazing players ever, it's designed to give you those moments where you feel like you're just awesome. You're the best out there. You are amazing. You did something really cool. So therefore, you get on that kind of high. You get that little bit of an ego trip a lot of the times. And then when something goes wrong, well, it couldn't possibly be your fault because you're this badass. You're really good at this game, right? Like, you're really awesome. There's no way you actually got outplayed, or there's no way that your shots were actually off or anything like that. And a lot of people, subconsciously, like I said, they just jump to that conclusion of, nope, wasn't my fault. Something else was wrong. That was lag. That was bad hit detection. That guy's hacking. There's something wrong here. It wasn't me. I feel this second stage of, are you sure, can really help you in a lot of areas. One thing that I see all the time, I see videos like this posted to Reddit constantly, complaining about hit detection and how bad the hit detection is in the game. And most of the time, all it shows is a clip of somebody that's really close to their target, but they're just barely missing. Like, one shot shoots just underneath his enemy's arm, and then it kicks up and it shoots just over his shoulder. Then it kicks across and it shoots just over his other shoulder. And you can see that he's very close, and in real time, if you're not really paying attention, yeah, it looks like he's kind of shooting at his enemy. But when you really break it down frame by frame, he's actually missing his shots, and there's no problem with the hit detection in this scenario. And he's blaming it on something when it's actually his fault. So this is why this secondary process of, are you sure it's not under your control, has to come in. Another thing with this is like general spawn knowledge. A lot of people will just be like, wow, that was a terrible spawn, or I spawned and then there was a guy right around the corner. How could I have expected that? That's completely out of my control. Whereas when you really start to understand how the spawns work and you get a lot of experience, you realize that if I'm spawning here, that means there is an enemy over in this area here, and I should be expecting them. But a lot of people just write that off and say, nope, spawns are random, that was out of my control, nothing I can do differently, and the game sucks. So make sure you go through that secondary process. You guys might even see this from me in like live commentaries or when I live stream sometimes. One thing that I still often jump to, and I have to catch myself quite often, is, stupid teammate, you should have had me covered there. Or, I thought you had me covered, teammate, and it's all my teammate's fault. But a lot of times you hear me say, oh crap, come on teammate. And then you'll see me pause for a second, and then a lot of times I will say, well, actually I probably should have watched my minimap a little bit better, or yeah, I should have noticed his skull, or I guess he wasn't really looking that way, I thought he was. It takes that little secondary thing. Because even with me, and I feel I'm pretty good in this area, I still get that little thought that pops up like, nope, that wasn't your fault, that was someone else's fault. When really, there is something I could have done differently. So if we do get past that "are you sure" question, and the answer is still no, there is legitimately something completely out of your control that just happened, and there was a crazy lag spike, there legitimately was somebody staring at you as you spawned in, or something like that that is completely out of your control, and you were honest with yourself, you really thought about the situation, and yes, it was completely BS, that's when you just laugh it off. This is Call of Duty, and for anybody that's played a lot of Call of Duty, you will know that these things will happen, and you just have to come to expect them to happen. You can't expect the game to be running 100% perfectly all the time, and you know these things are going to be coming. So just realize, well, it's going to happen at some point, might as well be now. And when it happens, just laugh about how ridiculous that was. Like, wow, I can't believe I just spawned in that guy's line of sight. That's so stupid. Or, wow, I was so far around that corner, yet he still managed to kill me because of lag compensation. The cool thing about this is by actually laughing it off and just laughing at how ridiculous that death was, it actually keeps you in kind of a good mood. Even though you're laughing at something that's frustrating, it still kind of keeps you in that good mood just because you're actually laughing at it. Which I think is pretty cool, and it actually works quite well. Whereas if you start getting really angry and you start raging, just think about what that does to your head while you're trying to play. You keep trying to play, but you're just thinking about that last death and how stupid it was. And you're just getting more and more angry, and that's all you can really think about at this point. Is that going to make you start to play better? For most of us, the answer to that will be no. Now, there are, I'm sure, a couple exceptions out there that are going to say, I actually play so much better when I'm angry and everything like that. But for most of us, it just clouds our thought process. We can't really think clearly when we're really upset about something, and we just can't let it go. And we just start playing worse and worse and worse and making more mistakes, and then we get more and more frustrated, and it just snowballs from there. And that's where you start to see broken controllers and broken TVs and all that fun stuff. So just realize, when this BS stuff happens, that legitimately is BS, it was some crazy lag, it was completely out of your control, just laugh it off, because there is no benefit whatsoever to raging and getting really upset about something that is in a video game. Now, I do realize that a lot of us are very passionate about the video game, so it's not as simple as saying, oh, it's just a game, it's just a game. It's the same thing with sports. You can't just say, oh, it's just a game, to a professional player that just lost, like, the big game or something like that. We are very passionate about what we're doing here. We do care about it a lot. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be here watching a YouTube video on how to control your rage in Call of Duty. And therefore, that advice doesn't really carry over. But you do have to kind of have that in the back of your head a little bit. It is just a game. This isn't affecting you in real life. It's no big deal. It was kind of funny how stupid that death was. Move on. Now, even if you follow this logical process and everything, you still might have that little bit of a negative emotion or that frustration building up in you. And all I can really tell you here is just take a second, just pause for a second, take a deep breath in, let it out, and then move on. This just kind of gives you that fresh slate in my mind. It just clears your mind. Not a big deal. Deep breath, and then move on from there. That's all I can really tell you. It really works for me. When I start to get frustrated, it's just, okay, well, deep breath, and it's all good. Let's get back into it. So I'd like to know in the comment section below, what tips do you have for controlling your rage while playing Call of Duty? Do you have some sort of weird ritual or something that you do that helps you control your rage, or just a few more tips that you'd like to add on to mine? If you guys enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.